So, I kind of touched on this the other day when I was talking about vane stands, but I wanted to go over it again and just focus on having that be its own separate story here, and elaborate a little bit more on my motivations and what exactly I'm going to be getting into what I'm doing. So, like I said the other day on my post, I was talking about the hatch, and saying, there really isn't too much that needs to be done. Yeah, there's a lot of things missing off of it, and but it's not the end of the world. It's all stuff that can be done pretty easily. So I'm just gonna get to it. Was watching. Was it a friend of mine shared that Joyner Lucas video the other day with him like giving his tribute to Will, and it was like a quote from Will that he's like talk about laying one brick at a time. Like you need a wall, you need to build a wall, but don't think of it as a finished wall. Think of it or approach building that wall by laying one brick at a time as perfectly as you possibly can. Just one perfect brick after another. And eventually you have your wall. So in this situation, I was pissed off. Somebody tried me, and man, that's the worst thing ever. That's one most motivating thing ever for somebody to tell me that I can't do something or make fun of something I've done and brush it off like it's nothing. I'm like, well, now you've lit a fire where I want to fucking do this, and I want to rub it in your fucking face, like hardcore when it's done. So, that's what I'm gonna do. I think that car, as it sits right now, if I pull off the 220 horsepower that I think I'm gonna, that car is capable of high 12s. I think it can do it, man. I really think it can do it. And now in my mind that I know I'm going to keep this and make it a race car, I already know the upgrade I want to do. Like the head I just got the other day, or one of my RBB heads, I'm going to keep. I'm going to convert the VTEC killer, and that's going to go on a high compression K20 block, or K24. So I'm going to be locked all in. I'm aiming for that 300 wheel horsepower mark, right? So I'm going to compile a list shortly after this of all of the things that I need to get that car 100%. I spent like an hour this morning digging around for the fuel lines. So, because the fuel filter's gone. I don't know if the fuel lines are gone off the car, but if they're not, I'm probably just going to go ahead and delete them and upgrade. Because I gotta be crawling around underneath that car anyway, regardless for the brake line. So I guess this is something I'm going to pay attention to tomorrow night when I go to the shop. I'm going to take a look at the car again. I took a look at the pictures of the car, the engine bay, before I put it in, and I'm pretty sure they're all gone. All those lines are gone. So what I need to do is put it on jack stands. So this means I need to buy 2 more jack stands because I'm going to jack up the whole fucking car. And I need to find my jack. And I hope the fucking Christ I'm not buying another one again, because those things are like $80, man. Either that or I got to use my stocky jack, which I might even be tempted to do. I think I have one there already. But I need leads to get 2 more jack stands, and they put the car in the air and get to it. Now, so I'm gonna get started with it again this weekend, or going into this week. I'm just gonna knock out everything that I have, everything that I'm gonna do that I can do on the car. The parts I've already have, I'm gonna start doing that. Like I'm gonna clean up one of my water pump housings and whatnot, clean that shit up, paint it, get it on there. Put that little pipe for that one coolant line delete on there for that I have the K-Tune shit. Put the starter on. The shifter plate just came in, if you didn't see on Instagram. So I'm going to put the stock shifter box in there. That's going to be a video too, because I cannot find anybody that puts the fucking stock shifter box on top of the car. Now, there have been people who've put the stock shifter box and used the plate to put it from the bottom. But I'm not doing that. My hole's already cut in the firewall, so I'm going to run it through the firewall. I'm just going to put it inside. And I think it should be pretty straightforward. Like the plate is designed to be hollow so it can fit over the raised part in the tunnel. So I think I just need to cut out the plastic if I'm going to use the plastic to put it in. And I think I will. I'm going to keep the interior in the car. As the interior pieces are there, are going to stay there while I'm driving the car. And then once we get to the point where it's full, well, it's going to be a full race car, because I don't plan on registering that car or anything of that shit. It's just going to be, as it is. It's not going to be streetable, because I'm not putting wiper motors and shit back in there and whatnot. So I'm gonna definitely have it as a race car, or I guess I might register, just not put a plate. I don't know. You know what the fuck I'm talking about. I'm just not gonna worry about being a street ready car. Uh, yeah. So I gotta tackle all that shit that I'm gonna do right now. I'm gonna start with like I said, start with everything that I have and work my way down. So the plan is to steady chop at this every fucking week. Go every day that I'm working and do a little bit of something. And then so this week I'm gonna focus on putting all the shit that I have available on the car and funneling out hollowing out that tunnel a little bit on that rear mount bracket so I can get that last bracket on there to fully have the swap in place. And then I'm gonna start ordering parts, like whatever part that I'm missing is gonna get on there. The brake line's gonna get locally at the auto parts store, so I don't have to worry about ordering that. And then the same thing with the prop valve. I'm gonna get a prop valve. I'm not worried about keeping it all the engine bay shaved and tucked and all that bullshit. I'm gonna put the prop valve back on there and do it right, and run new lines, get the fittings off of the shit in the junkyard, and I don't think that this is gonna take a lot of time, especially if I approach building this race car in the way that I approached my weight loss a couple years ago. I will be able to get this car up and running in a couple of months because it doesn't need that much to run. And I'm going to be running it in A. So every week I'm just going to do more shit to the car until it's done. If I'm just, the way I'm going to do is I'm just going to tackle one problem at a time every week until it's finished, instead of doing what I did with the Integra and letting it sit for so long because I was like, oh, I got to do this and I got to do that and I got to do this. And I'll just do it later. Even today, in the last upload I had, you see I went out there and I got some shit done on the Integra. Not a lot, but I was starting to think last night, man, that I'm really close to being finished. Not really much to keep me away from the dyno at this point. So I also still, like I said, I need to find my jack so I can switch out those hubs. But yeah, other than that, man, that should be done also soon. Like I say, it's going to be running in April, but you got to realize too that this is literally the end of March. So I think that I can have that car, 100%, or not 100%, but drivable and tunable in 2 weeks. And just because the way I feel is that this next weekend is going to be finalizing the intercooler piping and the fucking and the radiator, and then also getting the hub swapped over. That's probably going to be, the hub's going to be 1 weekend in itself, and then the radiator and the intercooler pipe's going to be 1 week in itself. So 2 weeks to get that done, and then hopefully I'm ready to tune. So this is just a confirmation, really, that I am going to keep the hatch. I deleted all the sales listings this morning. It's not going anywhere. And if you're wondering why I don't just build the next engine and put it in there, it's because when I do the next build, that's gonna cost me a lot of money still. Well, not a lot of money, but still a decent amount of money to do the new long block. And then I'm getting a 6-speed trans. That's another thing, and that's gonna be expensive too. So I'm looking at more than $1,000 just between pistons and rods. Yeah, well over. I'm looking at like $1,300 between getting another transmission, pistons, rods, and bearings, and all that shit for the new long block. So what I'm gonna do is move forward with the VTEC killer because I really want to see that done, and I'm gonna beat the hell out of that swap on the track and get my seat time, get used to racing again. And once I get to that point where I'm consistently hitting the same number, and I've done all that I can do to make the car faster, then we'll do the upgrade. And I got a feeling then that when that time comes that I might have sponsors jump on board and be able to get costs alleviated there a little bit, because we're talking about within the next couple of months, we're going to have the Integra running and this hatch. So I'm hoping this is going to bring some extra help my way to get some more stuff done. And once these two things are done, then I'm going to be putting my full attention on the RSX. I'm going to be, I know I keep saying I'm going to finish that long block, but I am. I'm going to be doing that very soon. The only thing I need to do to finish that long block really is a bolt on an oil pump and buy a head gasket. Once I do that long block will be done. It'll just be sitting. And then the next thing I'm going to be buying parts for is the turbo kit for the RSX. And I'm going to max what I can do on most likely on pump. So I'm not worried about getting a sidewinder or manifold or anything like that. I'm going to probably get a log style, and I'm just going to go the cheaper route for the turbo kit for the RSX, because I don't plan on sending it to the moon. Even though it's got pistons and rods, But who knows? I might, like, again, my idea might change on that. It really just depends on what kind of, if I have another car that I can, that I feel like I can put on the street, or maybe the Integra's that car. So, if, once I get the hatch and the Integra running, then we will go to, the RSX. And hopefully all three will be done this year, 100%. I think so. I think, if, like I said, if I've been feeling really motivated getting things done, I've been bringing in extra money for VHP engines. So as long as I can keep bringing in extra money off of parts I'm selling and work that I'm doing, that'll make it easier for me to spend more money on the cars. And it looks like I might be making an extension, maybe extending another 6 months on the shop space, just because of the fact that I said that I was going to spend the next couple of months to see if it could pay for itself, and it has. I have made a decent amount of money this month off of it, and I think that I would have continued to make money if it hadn't been for the fucking coronavirus shit. So we'll just have to see. But that's cool, because that gives this whole pandemic shit gives the name for the hatch, La Corona, because I bought this hatch right when we were getting ready to go into the COVID-19 scare, and this car is being built under that. So the Corona car, that's what this is. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and I probably got some more shit coming out for you later on today, and peace.